Hi, this is Dave T1963, and what I want to talk about today is how many times have you heard from people, that we've been preaching that Christ could come again for now 2,000 years, that every generation thought that Jesus was come again, and he hasn't, and so we shouldn't be talking about it because people aren't going to believe us. We're going to receive criticism and ridicule and persecution and all those things because for 2,000 years we've been preaching this message as a church, and where is he? He hasn't showed up. To the point where, sadly, we as a church, we've dropped that message. You hardly ever hear anyone preaching on heaven and hell and being prepared and what could happen if Jesus was to come today, and we should be preaching that message. And here's the point. The reality is, for everyone who has ever died on this planet, Jesus has come again. Okay? The message wasn't wrong. Jesus has indeed come again. And let me explain. The apostles 2,000 years ago were preaching, be prepared. God could come, Jesus could return today, and you could stand before and give an account for your life. And they weren't wrong, folks. Like I said, where is that generation that heard that message? Well, they're dead. And for them, their reality is that judgment of Jesus returning has indeed happened. He has returned for them, as he has for everyone who's ever passed away on this earth. Okay? When Jesus died, the reality is when you die now, your body is going to go in the ground until Jesus comes and gets the church and they're resurrected, or the great white throne judgment is when the lost will be resurrected. But the reality is, since Jesus died, everybody's body's in the ground, but your soul goes one of two places. For those who have put Lord as their Lord and Savior, their soul is going to heaven to be with Lord. Some will call it paradise. Okay? For those who reject Jesus and deny that he's the Lord of their life, they're in a place today called Hades, or hell as we know it. And you can find out what that's like by reading the parable about Lazarus and the rich man. It's a place of torment. Okay, I hear all these people saying, I'm going to have a good time with all my buddies who went to hell, and we're going to drink beer, and we're going to do this and that. No, you're not. You're going to be suffering. And it's going to be so bad that this man, this rich man who found himself in hell, wanted to dip his finger to get a touch of water to his lips. And when that was denied to him, he wanted to send people back to warn his family so they wouldn't wind up there. It's not going to be a party, folks. It's a place of torment. That's the reality, folks. That's the message. We have not missed the mark. The preaching that Jesus could come again could happen for anyone. In all reality, his physical return, where he actually does come back to this earth, man, we're 2,000 years closer to that. So it's definitely imminent. Look at the signs around us. But even if it doesn't, you could find yourself going home to meet your maker tomorrow. Okay? And the reality is going to hit you right in the face that the most important decision you ever made, you're going to live with that. You're going to live with that decision. It's going to be with you for eternity. Okay? And for all those people that think hell is temporary, it is. Read Revelations chapter 20, I believe it is. At the great white throne judgment, all the dead who have, when Christ comes and gets his church, all the resurrected saints are going to heaven. At the great white throne, everyone else who's died and on the earth is going to be resurrected and stand before the great white throne judgment. And they're going to be judged according to their deeds because they rejected the gift that Jesus offered them. At the end of that, death in Hades, or hell, is cast into a lake of fire, an eternal lake of fire. And then the very next sentence says, everyone's name who isn't written in the Lamb or Christ book of life will also be cast into this eternal lake of fire. Folks, you have no idea the horror, what it's going to be like, the despair and the anguish, knowing that your situation is never going to change for all eternity. As you torment and you realize that you rejected the gift that God wanted to give you. So man, if you don't know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, don't just listen to me. Get on your knees. What have you got to lose? And pray out loud. Say, God, if you are real, if there really is a heaven and hell, and if there really was a Christ that died for me, reveal it to me. Speak to me. What have you got to lose? For those of us in the church that know this is a reality, we need to get back on point. We need to quit being so worried that the past may not have proved that Christ came again in the way he thought, or we thought that he would come, and get back to the reality that Jesus coming back could happen tonight for any person. They could go to their eternity tonight. And let's face it, look around at this world and what all we see happening. Jesus could physically come back for his church today. There's nothing standing in his way except for God's grace and patience, hoping that all would come to know him. So once again, I just want to dispel the myth that the apostles and all these saints from that time forward that were preaching that Christ could come today, be prepared. They weren't wrong. Jesus has come for millions and millions of people, and he could be coming for us tonight. Make sure you're ready. Dave T 1963 out.